higher power equations, which you would solve just by factoring. Just like we factored higher power rational expressions, you can solve these by factoring as well. So looking here at the first one, first thing I would do, or anytime you're dealing with solving equations, I check to see if I can factor. There is a greatest common factor between these two. GCF is the first thing I would check for. So first I'm going to factor out an x. I'm left with 8x cubed minus 343 equals 0. The second term continues to factor. It's a difference of 2 cubes. So this will be 2x minus 7. The cube root of 343 is 7. First term squared is 4x squared. Product of the two terms is 14x, and the last term squared is 49. And then the signs are same, opposite, always positive. So SOAP is that acronym that you can use. This means that my solutions are one of the following three. Using the zero product property, one of each of these products could be 0. So the solutions would be either x equals 0 from this first term, x equals 7 halves from the second term, but then to solve this one, we are actually going to have to use quadratic formula. So x equals negative b, which is negative 14, plus or minus the square root. Now, when I do this stuff inside the radical, I'll often do it off to the side. B squared minus 4ac. B squared be 14 squared. Minus 4 times a, which is 4 in this case, times c, which is 49. So looking at this discriminant, 14 squared minus 4 times 49, if you want to do that on a calculator, you can take out a calculator and do 14 squared minus 4 times 49. Gives you negative 558, negative 588 divided by 2a, which a is 4, so 2a would be 8. 588 has actually is 3 times 49 times 4, so you can pull out some common factors in reducing this. So this will be negative 14 plus or minus. Notice that there's a negative here, so there will definitely be an I involved in the solution. And 14 squared is 196. This is 196 times 3, so it'll be 14 I rad 3 all over 8. That has a common factor of 2. So this is negative 7 plus or minus 7 I rad 3 divided by 4. Okay, so there are my three solutions: 0, 7 halves, and negative 7 plus or minus 7 I rad 3 over 4. This is my imaginary solution, and these are my two real solutions. Now I'm going to clear this so that I can move on to the next example. Wrong button. Okay. So over here, this is a higher power equation, and if you notice, whenever you have an exponent, which is double the next exponent, it's of what's called quadratic type. So this will factor just like a quadratic equation. I'm going to look to see what has a sum of 5 and a product of negative 6. The two numbers that'll do that for me are negative 6 and positive 1. So this will actually be x squared minus 6 times x squared plus 1 equals 0. Notice that when I FOIL this out, this is the exact system I'll get. So this is actually a process that'll work anytime you have an exponent which is double the next exponent in line. You can factor it just like you would any other quadratic equation, and the square root of the highest power turns out to be the part of that factor. When I solve this, I get that x squared equals 6, so that x is plus or minus the square root of 6. Or x squared equals negative 1, which means that x would be plus or minus the square root of negative 1, which is I. So again, I get a real solution and imaginary solutions.